Well, hello, everyone, gentle listeners, friends, family alike from far and wide. This here is my day 4 of quarantine. Thanks to our good friend, the COVID-19, coronavirus to its friends, I'm here in mandatory self-isolation in Brisbane, Australia, my beautiful home, and it's not really a bad place to be locked up. I've got amazing company and my beautiful husband, a lovely little place full of my treasures to explore, and some time to start some projects that I've wanted to for quite some time. And one of those is this, the inaugural episode and broadcast of a little show I'm calling preliminarily Great Books of Our Times. So in this segment, what we're going to do is we're going to explore the unsung heroes of literature. Works that I've discovered on my travels that I feel are underrated, underexplored, and it's a crying shame that are unknown. So, for today's episode, the first of many, we're going to explore this book, The Man Catcher's Manual. And I have to give a big shout out to the fine emporium of rare and beautiful books, Douglas Stewart Fine Books of Melbourne. All of these beautiful titles, with the exception of one, was purchased from his lovely boutique on the high street of Armadale in Victoria. And when I saw this on his Instagram, I simply had to have it. The Man Catcher's Manual. It's just that the titles on the back alone captured me straight away. It says here, how do you recognize a millionaire in his bathing suit? Why does a girl need 9 men in her life? And how do you say no without putting him off? Are you better off as a mistress? I mean, really, are there more important questions that we should be entertaining in this time? Are there? Not really. So I've identified a few key selections to give you an example of the genius and mastery of this book so that you may take home something and reflect upon it. So first of all, the authors of this book, who I should mention, Anne Lambton and Hazel Mayrick, they give some biographical information about the authors here in the opening. It says that Anne divides her time between London, the south of France, and Lebanon. After her divorce, she took up a career in journalism. Scintillating intellect, I'm sure. And Hazel Mayrick, well, she is the travel editor for the fine publication of Cosmopolitan magazine. And I'm sure if she works for Cosmopolitan, we'd be remiss without referring to her as a fine journalist. So, the first thing they go into in this book that I'd like to share with you is a section they call General Investments. Now, these are things that you as a young lady or man about town may consider purchasing or investing in to help you along your way in your mission of catching a man. So, General Investments. 1. A pair of good-looking fashion boots. Everybody has one boot length that suits them, whether it be naughty 90s mid-calf or thigh-high. Find yours. 2. A pair of very sheer tights which make your legs look fabulous. Check you get the right shade to suit you. Fatter legs need darker colors. You know who we're talking to out there? Wear your tights with a short dress and sandals. 3, and this is important, please pay attention. You need the handbag which stamps you as having both money and taste with a matching or complementary belt. Look around for fake Gucci's, they say. Now, something in real gold, a compact, a biro, or simply a key ring, and an expensive-looking real leather diary. I mean, haven't you felt your life's been incomplete without these things already? And for those of you who do already have them, good for you, you're ahead of the game. Now, you need 2 expensive lawn handkerchiefs, and see you produce them only when they are freshly laundered. They're being a little stern here, so you know it's important. Now, you also need an Indian sari or an embroidered kaftan. Of course, both much cheaper to buy than they look. marvelous for the big dinner parties when you can upset all the other women in their expensive couture dresses. This is something you can persuade him to buy you early on in the guise of a holiday souvenir. Clever ladies, these authors. So it goes on the things that you need to buy, but I think actually we should move forward a little bit to one of the next sections of the book here. I mean, this is what we all really need to know. This is the crux of this great book. And in chapter 6, it goes through how to pick him up. So, first of all, we go through pick up places. And feel free, gentle listeners, on this Sunday afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, to interrupt us with questions. If there's something you want to know more about, I'm happy to really dive into some of the more erudite conversations unpacking this great book and looking at some of the themes and what they might be metaphorical for, you know. So pick up places. Here's where you need to go. Now, unless he's in the executive jet class, but remember, even the Snowdens have to travel by scheduled airlines sometimes. Airport lounges make first-class pickup places, since you're almost certain to find that your flight is delayed, and as everyone is nervous of flying, they're more ready to talk. But unless you're relying entirely on luck, this requires a special technique, which we'll discuss later. Oh, I love a cliffhanger, don't you? Your job can be used as a convenient excuse for nabbing him. You even know a girl who pretends, quite often, to be a market researcher, complete with clipboard and chart. Oh, props. We didn't even get into props in the list of must-have investments. You know, what man doesn't love a woman with a clipboard and a chart? Now, in this day and age, in the time of Corona, you might invest in a fabulous lab coat, you know, or maybe a mask that you bedazzled a little bit. Just something, you know. Make it yours, make it personal. Journalism is a very useful ploy if you pretend to work for a respectable newspaper or magazine. These ladies are talking from experience. Certainly they work for such publications. You can actually call at his home then and demand an interview. And just look what happened to two journalists. The girl who went to interview Peck and never left. Scandals. And Shirley Lord, who went along to do a story on a textile millionaire and ended up marrying him. See? That's proof that these techniques actually work. Say you want to do an in-depth story. This may mean you can wangle actually staying in his house for a couple of days. Well, and if you're hard up and don't have a house of your own, this is an ideal scenario. But learn first to write fake shorthand in a facile sort of way. Admittedly, some of the world's top writers can't put down a word in Pitman's, but trying to get down what he says in a painstaking scrawl will make you out to be something of a moron and a beginner at the game. It's better to save up and buy a tape recorder instead, though some great men react against them. One of us actually got to meet King Hussein and was invited to his private hideaway because she was the only person around who could actually write shorthand. Education is never a waste, my friends. And the king wouldn't have a recording machine in the palace. Well, wise words. So that's one of the pickup places, is in the lounge. This is important too. Timing is everything. Don't appear before lunch. There is no sense in making an appearance at the pool before 1 o'clock, even later in the Middle East. Not only is it far more effective to drift down looking gorgeous after a cool shower when everyone else is looking hot and bothered, but you can have suntan more speedily on a deserted beach or on the privacy of your balcony using all those messy oils and wearing nothing at all. What else have we got in here that you need to hear? So the bar makes another good pickup place, provided it's the sort of hotel that allows women in by themselves. A few, just a very few, top-class hotels are sticky on this point. But with so many career girls traveling by themselves, this one is breaking down fast. Look every inch a lady. Look businesslike too. It's a good idea to have a file or portfolio under your arm. Again, props. very important here. Know what you want to drink. Don't hum and haw and look awkward. Sit at the bar and make a friend of the barman by the simple expedient of asking him if he would like a drink. Chatting the man behind the bar will soon give you the information you need on who's around and who is likely to come in. One of us once got talking to Rex Harrison by quite simply commenting on the way he liked his Bloody Marys mixed. Keep glancing at your watch in an irritated sort of way, as if your date is late. If nothing comes up, move to the restaurant instead. So you see, this book is giving you the kind of information and tips that no one else does. Cutting through the nonsense and the noise and just going straight to the point. It goes through and tells you how to play the scene. It breaks down those 9 different men that they mentioned that you need in your life. It also goes through some of the pitfalls, like this section here. It says, how to tell if he's queer. Like pregnancy, homosexuality is a physical state that no amount of bright chatter can alter. Well, I would say bright chatter might be encouraging the homosexual. If the thought has crossed your mind that his liking for his own sex seems to go beyond a beer in the pub with the boys, watch out. He could be one of those. But let us say right away that after consulting our address books, we both discovered that our nearest and dearest friends are, in fact, queers. Both photographers, as it happens. Happy snappers. But then, we're not after their money, just their friendship. We love them dearly. Here's how to tell if he could be one of those. Number 1, when he telephoned to make a date, did he say, I can get theater tickets for Thursday night if this would amuse you? Number 2, did he arrive dead on time with a nice bunch of country-style flowers saying, I had a feeling they would go with your rooms? Number 3, did he immediately take over the mixing of the drinks? Number 4, was he wearing an extremely pretty blouse which you would have loved to have owned yourself? Was every other detail clean, chic, and well-pressed? And number 5, did his eye fasten on the only good detail in the room, like the Chinese porcelain bowl that Auntie Dorothy left you in her will, and which you've been meaning to sell for years? And did he say that a gay friend of his had an interesting collection of similar pieces? Well, I don't know how I've been without this book in my life until now, and I'm very pleased to have been able to share this with you. So as I say, this is a new segment that we're going to be doing time and time again as time permits, like this time we have now in almost a chrysalis during the corona scare. And it's times like these that I like to sit and reflect, and I've got a collection here of fine books to share with you, titles that we'll be going through over time. And I'd like you to maybe let me know which one in future talks you'd like to see. We've got here, Why Paint Cats? Now, I'm very sorry to say we don't have the sequel to this book, which is called Why Cats Paint. There's that one. What else have we got? We've got Las Vegas Lesbian. This is, again, an unsung hero, something that I'm sure all of you didn't know you were missing. Now, on the same theme as the book we read today, we've got How to Attract Men. I thought this was important because some of you out there probably this is going to be telling and going to speak to your deeper urges of what you really want to know. Now, we're going to take a serious turn with the next book, which is called Cancer in My Left Ball. Don't think I need to say much more about that. And finally, well, not finally, we've got 2 more here. A cookbook, something on a more practical note. This is Billy Gordon's great work, You've Had Worse Things in Your Mouth. There you go. And then, you know, now that we're all a bit pent up at home, we need to sort of watch the figure, don't we, girls? And we're going to read this one called San Francisco Workout. See, in the back there, he's even doing it in the tub. So it just goes to show you don't need a fancy gym. You don't need your old Pilates reformer machine. You can do these things at home. I mean, some of the stretches he gets into, dear Lord. Here's one with a chicken. He's doing that, something with a chicken. So, I don't want to spoil the ending, but join us next time when we explore the great books of our time.